Hi, Reiq here with a new video. This video was recorded a few years ago, 2 years ago, and this time I wanted to share it with you because I think the things that I talked there about figure drawing, gesture, and well, drawing tips in general are, I think, really important, and they complement a little bit the last video of gesture drawing. So enjoy and see you at the end of the video, and I hope you like it. Hi guys, my name is Ronaldo Quintero, and again I'm doing a new video because I feel that we need a better explanation about the figure drawing. And I've seen many people have different approach to this, and for me, I think that people are missing. There's something that people miss most of the time when they draw the figure, is that we learn to do the general structure of the rib cage, and we learn how things are supposed to flow, and how this is like a bone, and then this is the leg, and we go and we start constructing and making lines and trying to find ways to find the next piece of information, and we go and we say, well, this is wrong here, and then we make decision, like we have a system of how we create a figure. And I think it's a good way at the beginning when you kind of create your own structure and you have a way of figuring out things. But it happens that the drawing itself becomes stiff. And I've seen many people who are drawing and they do not complete the hands, or they just leave feet like marks, and people are afraid to reach to those points, and they just like suggest things that they don't want to draw. People just avoid that because it's easy to avoid doing the hands and everything. But what I think is that people are missing in most of the drawings is the gesture of the figure. And gesture, is a curve, is the movement of the body. It's all the grace, how say the grace, the rhythm, the flow of the figure. Is the life, is what makes things beautiful, which is all that rhythm, how things flow and how things wrap around. And as soon as I do this, and I'm not thinking about the whole structure and how everything has to be correct, then I'm moving to a more natural way of drawing. And for some people might find this quite challenging, because it's difficult when you see a model. What is the gesture? What I'm looking for from that? And right now I'm drawing again and again the gesture, because I think it's a way for you to see what I'm thinking about when I do the gesture. And if you practice only doing gesture of the figure and trying to find how the shapes are flowing and how things are related one to another, you'll find that everything has a place, everything has an angle, everything has a gesture, has a curve that goes around the body. Everything has a beauty in itself. That's why life drawing and everything is so appealing. It's all the flow of the body. And as I go, there's gesture as well in the distance. I think the distance of elements have gesture. To figure out the gesture as well, you have to understand the anatomy. anatomy is the most important things to understand, because once you know anatomy, you will understand like how the rib cage it has an egg shape and it goes around, and this line of the internal oblique goes in this way. You have your center line and everything, but once you have that, you will get more of the gesture. So I recommend to understand anatomy and spend time not drawing all not drawing the anatomy, but understand what is the function, what happens, because you learn from a drawing and you learn how to draw a muscle, and you understand only one position of that muscle. You have to understand how everything goes around. We are talking about three-dimensionality in the drawing. It's not just only, well, this is my deltoid and my biceps and the tricep here and the brachialis and the radiobrachialis and all of that structure. But what happens when you turn it around and you have to turn it in three-dimensional in a three-dimensional way, like how that muscle will look at that angle and how it relates to other muscles. So once you learn that, you will see that everything has a connection. Every muscle, everything is related to one another. And when I'm drawing this, there might be some mistakes and everything is not perfect, but that's the thing. You don't have to think about how perfect it is. You have to understand how things flow, and you can go a little bit and push it a little bit more. How things are changing in the figure. How this line relates to this line, and how the feet here will change, and we'll have another gesture in itself, and that gesture is a curve that is beautiful that goes around here. So the funny thing is that when you learn anatomy and everything, you will start looking for all those lines and relationships and everything. So it will stop being about this rib cage. It will be more about this rib cage. It will be more organic. It will feel more natural, like human. So you can start with a cube or whatever graphical shape you want to understand the three-dimensionality and change of plane. But once you get that, try to understand how things are wrapping and what is the real structure of the rib cage. Because once you get the real structure and you understand how it looks from different positions, you will be able to organize and place the rest of the body in perspective, or you can do whatever you want. So for me, I think that's the main challenge, to do that. And people say, oh, how can you draw hands and how it works and everything? Well, it's the same basic. It's the same process. You have your arm, and then you have the plane of the palm of your hand, and then you have your 4 fingers here, and then you have the thumb. And then there's different sizes and everything. But this is if you look and try to understand how the hands work. Look at your hand, see how it works. See when you open your hand, look at the gesture of the fingers. Fingers are not looking like this. Fingers are going around. It feels there's a curve. There's a gesture in the hand. There's a gesture here. and then there's the wrist and everything. So if you look for those gestures, and if you know the structure inside the gesture, then you'll be able to place everything you see. You will understand and be able to place and rotate and put things around. And even when this is all rough, I'm not thinking about how beautiful this will be at the end. I'm thinking about why I learned here. Why was my learning experience when I did this? So my main advice: don't draw to please people or to show it to people. When you are learning, draw for yourself. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. It doesn't matter if it doesn't look perfect. But if you understand and you study, you will get better. You will improve. So most of the things that I see, like from other artists that I know that are starting, is they're afraid to make mistakes. They want things to be beautiful. They want things to be perfect. They don't want to fail, and you will fail. I failed so many times, and even now, there are times when I really struggle for things, and you will struggle forever. Like there will be things that are gonna be super difficult for you, and there's no one perfect way to do things. But the more you understand the structure, you will be able to solve your problems. Sometimes I do poses and I do things and they're really, really difficult, and I get lost. I get lost. But if I go back to my structure of the rib cage and how the body's placed, what is the tilt of the head, and how the form is changing, then I can figure out a way to solve my problem. And this is how I draw. I'm drawing the forms, and sometimes I draw a little bit exaggerate because I'm looking how things are flowing, how things are being placed, and how things are being arranged inside and outside the body to make the figure. So take your time. Don't worry about how fast you work. Don't think, oh, I'm not fast enough, or don't think, oh, that person is this years old and I'm this years young, and don't worry about unnecessary things that will make you believe and assume things. You only have to really understand and practice, but practice not only how to make things beautiful or practice the things you only like. Practice things that you don't understand. Because if I know how to draw a beautiful back and I know how to push the form and everything, then I'll try to find something where I think I struggle with. Maybe the forearm. Well, what is the shape? What is it doing? How is it wrapping around? And don't be afraid to mark your lines and go over your lines. Don't erase. Just draw some lines and make your decisions and go over them, and then settle down and commit to one of the lines you have done. And as I'm saying, there are many things that you can cover and so many things you can study, like gesture, how things look. And for that, I recommend not only drawing but also doing sculpture, because in sculpture you will really understand how things look in 3D, and it won't be a thing about just doing the drawing. It will be about carving. It will be about putting shapes around. And the same goes for everything. What is the structure? How does it look internally? Like why the things is beautiful? What is the rhythm inside? And and sometimes your drawing might look stiff, and you might think, oh well, what's happening here? Why I don't see the gesture? Why I don't see that rhythm there? Well, go over your drawing and think about the flow, think about line, think about lines that are beauty. This is as a line that is not beauty. It's just this is a line that has more rhythm, has a flow. Is is that is that feeling of of energy? Is that feeling of movement of is that feeling of beauty that will help your drawing. So once you have done your drawing and probably way too structural, just try to go over it again, draw it again on top of the drawing, and try to figure out like what is the main gesture that I'm looking here. And then you can even correct like, well, this is my gesture, and this gesture of the leg will be reflected in this on this side. And what about this rib cage? We can go through the rib cage and have that gesture going up, and then the same for the arm. So you think about how things are connected, and and if you think about the main gesture, then you will have a better drawing. You will have a more thoughtful and conceived drawing. And gesture doesn't go only for in the inside; it goes outside of the form. So that's what I kind of trying to explain about about gesture and how it can really make your drawing better. If you can only study making a gesture, like this might be a little bit too complicated, too many lines. We'll try to go for the broad gesture. When you see a pose of somebody, what is the first line you see in the pose? What is the first rhythm that comes to your mind? And think about broad. Think about how broad that line is. And then you can go inside and really start adding more relationships in that gesture. So everything is there's a relationship in everything. And you'll see like, wow, now things are flowing better, and things can be arranged. You can change things, and you can find your center line. And think about three-dimensionality. Always keep it in mind. When you do a stroke, think about what is the three-dimensional form of what I'm drawing. And to understand that three-dimensional form, you have to understand anatomy. Like, oh, that muscle, this muscle is this way, and well, there is a bone here, and there's a tensor fasciolate, and then you got your vastus lateralis, intermedius, and you got your gluteus maxima and everything. But those shapes, if you understand what the muscles are inside, you will understand why that gesture, why is that line happening there. What about the calf? That is the gastrocnemius muscle, and try to understand how it relates and how it changes. And so, yeah, basically, it might be a little bit confusing for some of you, but if you think this is too complicated and I don't understand how you can go to so fast and to get to this level, or how can you approach this, then try again from the very beginning. Try to understand the rib cage. Do a lot of drawing of skeleton, and try to understand how things look, how they are composed, what is the structure, and what is the distance between pelvis and the rib cage, how wide it is. So that's the homework you have to do. And once you understand that, then you will understand. Well, now I understand that the leg has this certain has this gesture. So even bones, they have their own gesture. So once you learn that, then you can rotate in 3D, and you can start thinking about how things wrap around, how they are connected. Think about the back side, the front. But yeah, definitely understand that the relationship and the tilt. Everything has a tilt in the body. Only by arranging my main shapes in a different way, changing everything a little bit, then I can come with a more exciting pose, something better. And this is not only about I haven't drawn any muscle yet, and yet you can see what's happening. So you really don't need to understand all the muscles to draw up a certain pose. You have to understand what's happening inside the structure. And once you got that, then you can really push it. You can change it. You can do whatever you want once you understand that. Once you understand how things look and how they should look, then it will be super easy for you once you understand that. I hope it is not that complicated, but what I'm trying to say is that don't finish your drawings, be loose, think about the anatomical structure, and have fun, but always think, what are you practicing? Don't draw to please somebody, or draw to make the perfect drawing every time you draw. I have thousands of pages of drawings that are personal, that they are my experiments, my test, my study work that I have, and I don't show that. It's for my personal understanding. So with that, I'll try to post another video, and then and well, unfortunately, that was the end of the video. The video was cut like that because some people entered my room and I couldn't finish the video. But yes, that's what I talk about there, and I was almost finishing anyway. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and this is just an extra video for you to check it out. And stay tuned on my Patreon for new tutorials and new content. And if you're already a patron, thank you for your support, and see you there. Thank you.